Okay, next up we've got Nush Cekdemir. Welcome to the stage.
So, hello all. Happy and I'm delighted to have this opportunity to do the presentation once again, like past year. Past year, my name is Nush Cekdemir from Planon, by the way. Past year was predominantly about AI. And my presentation was related to hyper-automation, which was basically connecting all kind of algorithms, AI, process mining to hyper-automate activities within broad IFM disciplines. Now, what we see as a future is not only all these AI thing, because that's, I think, kind of obvious, but it's more about what I learned also this morning, building the city, of restructuring the city. Provide the processes and the foundation that AI can add value on. And as such, I want to take you with me in the cornerstone of facilities management, which is maintenance, I think, and there are more, but one of the strong cornerstones, to measurable business outcomes. That is something I think really interesting, what benefits your business, but also your customers in all aspects, from sustainability, margin, uptime of assets, life cycle, internal rate of returns, and so on. Where's the button? Where's the button? Somebody took the button.
I left it over there, sorry.
Where's over there? Oh, over there. Found it. I was already searching for it. Yeah, good. So, objective-based maintenance. I will give you the statement within a minute. What we'll cover. Just a reflection on historical maintenance regimes. But again, after knowing the seniority of this group, I would have skipped this as well. I could have skipped this as well, because I learned that you're already very mature in all these historical perspectives. What drives OBM? And also, of course, the data discussion, and not a negative data discussion, what we lack in data, but what better data unlocks in IFM. And then, of course, how could we start with that, practicing that? And of course, not last but not least, what's in it for your business and customers? Objective-based maintenance, that means making choices how and when to maintain assets based on what matters most to the business. That can be a variety of criteria or constraints. Uptime, safety, cost, energy consumption, sustainability, and all, rather than applying, and I'm not downplaying, a one-size-fits-all maintenance plan. Just a little bit back in history, where it all started with reactive maintenance, fix it after it breaks, and still nothing is obsolete in this triangle. It still happens, and we still use the combination of all these aspects in the context. Then we started to do more planned maintenance and condition-based maintenance, meter readings, and even the first generations, perhaps not in IFM, but in industrial automation, where also my old background lies. SCADA, supervisory control and data acquisition, one of the first generation industrial automation with connected assets before the IoT, with non-unified protocols. Later on, I think still recent, pattern recognition with predictive maintenance, but also condition surveys, which I skipped, which can also determine a deterioration curve, and how you can set the priorities to put your accent to increase or decrease the condition of an asset, and as such influence the budget of the customer. And now we are entering a new era, and that's the era what I just stated. That is the objective-based maintenance, which is a combination of asset priorities combined with business outcomes, desired business outcomes. From an abstract perspective, what drives OBM? The why question. From a customer's perspective, experience, transparency, cost reduction, engagement of the customer in the whole process, demand budgeting. I will come back on that later on. The fact that we have so many assets and so many data in hyper integration and operations, that requires also another way of working with your methodologies, because otherwise you get drowned in the data. And what are your actions? Are you going to react immediately? Or are you going to influence your planned schedules? Or so what to do in between? Energy and sustainability is, I think, a topic which has been discussed profoundly. I think very obviously it helps to become net zero as one of the aspects. There are a lot of aspects. And of course, technology never go on its own. It requires also a connected portfolio intelligence platform, which is basically a third, fourth generation CAVM solution with incorporated IoT time series databases, not silos and again other solutions to have, let's say, the processes automated and also reliable. A little bit deeper in the drivers, and again, a lot of these topics has been passed by over the day. That's, I think, the advantage when having the presentation at the end of the day. We spoke already about short, let's say, scarcity of well-certified technicians. That's not new. That's already for, I think, 2 decades or 1.5 decades, but it's still increasing, and it comes nearby. And of course, we cannot multiply resources, but we can do a lot to attract new people by working differently related to intrinsic motivations of that new generations. Or we can, of course, do drop skill sets and provide another way of empowering them, if it is allowed according to the legislations, to expand capacity as well. Margin pressure, I have also passed by the chicken-egg discussion in FM and how to break through. I think with this additional value creating, there should be a way to break through and to also pass by the purchase power. The power of purchase is typically related to a maturity curve. Geoffrey Moore and this theoretical technology adaptation curve. And the thing is, in a high mature market, you have always a strong procurement. And when doing re-innovation, then you are more in conversation with the business because it's more innovative. And it's easier said than done, but staying continuously in the loop of the high maturity phase, we're always facing a high mature purchase department because they have done it already a couple of times. Performance-based contracting, not new. You are more experienced than I am in that matter. So it's more about the performance. Social, we spoke about that, the total experience, engaging your employees, your customers' employees, your back offices, everybody in what are you doing, what are you contributing in all relevant aspects related to social. And also to attract new people. I saw also the war of talent. I'd rather prefer to say, how can we expose the love for talent by saying what we are doing? What is the intrinsic motivation for that generation, and how to express that? The ESG accountability, of course. And from a technological perspective, I mentioned already the frameworks who are there, and also the data-driven contract performance, which is required to perform orderly nowadays. Ecological, net zero also passed by, and the political factor not to forget. The compliance enforcement and the public sector accountability increases. So, another way of working will help to mitigate these kind of risks. And as always, I mentioned, I started with the data, and the data discussion always pops up. Oh, we lack the data, and the data is not orderly arranged. Now, I can always say, make it happen, make it work, because the discussion has been passed by. Governance, one data model, defined roles, permissions, no silos, consistent definitions. These are criteria for good governance. Accessibility, open APIs, easy integration, so that data can flow orderly to all these AI agents. Because if we have messy data, then the negative part, it will be, provide a messy outcome. The quality, of course, real-time inputs, sensor inputs, I hear them, they are not the magical thing, but let's say they can contribute on accurate data and logic rules to feed objective-based maintenance and AI agents which are behind that stage. And security, not to underestimate, run in your region and protect that every logic and intelligence will be reused by the AI model, the learning model, which is public or outside your, let's say, premise. That is very important to take into account. Yeah, and if you see then what it can unlock in 3 bullets, the foundation, that is of course your operational data, if you have that organized. The configuration for a specific customer and authorizations, that is the context that guides objective-based maintenance and AI. And the real-time input that expands the insights on that configuration and operational data that you have in place. So now how we have the data, how to set up OBM. And a lot of sentences, I tried to reduce it, but I did not succeed. So let's start with the first bullet. Define the objectives per data asset group or space. You see the criteria, safety, cost optimized, sustainability. These can be a wide range of criteria. Translate these objectives into customers' business outcomes based on asset criticality, KPIs, and that can be availability, that can be life cycle cost, the consumption of energy, but also demand budgeting, that you can play with the customer's demand. And of course, when something is broken as critical, then it's no discussion, it needs to work. But there are a lot of things in between that you can tweak and meet the demand of the customer's budget. Demand budgeting. Yeah. And then apply different maintenance strategies. And it looks a little bit ambivalent because I speak about objective-based maintenance and then why other maintenance strategies? Because to start, it's perhaps not realistic to start completely with objective-based maintenance. Start with the most critical assets and then see how the business case behave and expand from that. So still keep the preventive and eventual, if it is allowed for certain assets and older premises, to run to failure status. I mentioned already the importance of a platform, which is an open ecosystem, which can handle this massive amount of data and this methodology, such as a CPIP. It's not invented by me, it's invented by Vedantics in 2024. Or using CAVM, which is expansions with all these, capabilities to analyze and to operationalize this. And the agentic AI insights triggers, they will prioritize the work orders, scheduling, spare parts scheduling, and also the workforce, which will be aligned with these objectives, but that will be handled automatically. And do not forget, of course, to check everything what you do. That is kind of obvious because we can automate everything or AI everything, but still there can be a massive amount of failures or time stamps which are way longer than you expected, and process mining will provide you the analysis and an eventual proposal to improve on these timestamps, because otherwise it will be very difficult to monitor and to steer on such a process. So how does it look like from a graphical perspective? You see right above the financial objectives and also the operational objectives, employee engagement and customer satisfaction, all related to objective-based maintenance and of course the asset objectives. So from bottom to top, from reactive, a combination of the known maintenance regimes, taken all criteria into account, leads to objective-based maintenance in an abstract at a glance level. An example, and not a NERCO somewhere around, just a critical asset in a hospital. What is it? Water-cooled chiller unit isn't cooling properly. How should it work then? So the critical asset left above We have insights connected with IoT or other connections with the critical asset. The AI will analyze the difference in behavior, increased currency consumption, or overheating, or other criteria which can be measured. That will be mapped against the digital twin information that we have from that specific asset. Based on that, it can be incidental and a learning curve for the AI agent, or it will be transformed to an event. And the event will be further processed and looked against the financial and the asset objectives. Okay, in this case, a critical asset, so not a big discussion. And to the contract constraints, because it can be that the customer contract allows or requires that you first do a quotation or first need a authorization to proceed as it exceeds certain values. And of course, in the happy flow, the intervention can be done, and with the information, the technician can do his work with the prescriptive information. I will summarize it in the next slide. So what happened here with 4 AI agents is the analytical AI, so we understand what's happening. The predictive AI anticipated what might happen, because it was going in a failure. Perhaps I explained it wrong, it was going in a failure, it was not yet in a failure. And the generative AI assists with explanation, so historical information, but also context-related information related to the asset, what the method could be to avoid or to repair this specific asset. And the agentic AI creates the work order and routes everything to the own technician, the subcontractor, everything related to the criteria and to round up the process. So what does it bring in the business related to total experience? It is a seamless, more transparent, open, engaged journey, because when we also inform the customer via devices such as an app or another device, then he's engaged in the process. So he sees what's happening, an asset which is almost in failure, but all actions are being taken to avoid that, provides an increased experience for that customer. And if it is something like a lighting system, a complete other example, you do not get an applause when you repair a lighting system. But when there is a notification from an employee, from your customer, then it's way more interesting that he sees that somebody is on his way, has arrived, has repaired it, because he's engaged in that whole process. And the same for your technicians. Your technicians do an outstanding job, but are they aware what they really achieve with these customers, related to sustainability, related to energy reduction, related to a higher life cycle or reduced cost? How relevant are they together with your company? And the back office experience is, of course, kind of likewise, with the advantage that due to this automation, that they have also more capability to think and add value as a human on these automated processes. There are always thinkable scenarios where the human creates additional value. So, I learned in school, the proof of the pudding is the eating, a long time ago in the Netherlands, in my English lessons. So, it needs to have measurable outcomes, of course. So, operational efficiency, unify incidents, automated triage, predict failures, dynamic scheduling, and reporting, reduce manual effort significantly. The customer experience, intelligence prioritization, proactive notifications, real-time updates, agentic workflows, that helps also the customer service experience and the total experience. Compliance, I think, very, very important. Automate validation, turn risks and possible risks into tasks to mitigate these risks. Create audit-ready evidence packs, integrate for a single source of truth with your data. And matrix to take into account as SLI compliance, first-time right response, downtime, audit prep time, customer satisfaction, and the whole total experience related to that. A small movie to see how from a end-to-end process behaves.
The demand for outsourced field and facility services is driven by customers seeking enhanced experiences and value. At Planon, we provide technologies that ensure customer satisfaction and loyalty with a focus on engagement, deliver a total experience, minimize financial risks in service delivery, demonstrate the value of technology investments. With Planon Field Services, ensure critical assets run efficiently, detect issues early, and enhance service delivery for better customer and employee experiences. The Planon Field Services platform uses hyper-automated processes to ensure tasks are completed quickly and correctly the first time. Planon Field Services supports critical teams with IoT data capture and detailed analysis of building usage, asset performance, condition, and energy use. Hyper-automated processes for faster job ticket creation and dispatch. Mobile tools providing field teams with essential knowledge. Prescriptive analytics delivered directly to mobile devices for more effective maintenance. Context-aware health and safety checklists for safe working environments. A generative AI assistant to help teams find the right information and process mining for holistic end-to-end AI continuous improvement proposals. Enable field teams to automatically capture site details like materials used, time spent, and customer sign-off on completed work. Automated processes minimize financial risks and keep ERP systems updated for accurate invoicing. All backed by the industry-trusted Planon platform with integrated modules for managing customer goals, technical maintenance, soft FM, space management, energy, and sustainability. All designed to build satisfaction, trust, and loyalty. Planon, helping critical field and facility services teams to exceed customer expectations every day.
So, there was a commercial break. So if we tie it all together to, let's say, I call it now the IFM OBM, balanced scorecard, to 4 relevant perspectives, then I would like to start with customers, but in this case I will start with, let's say, innovation. Innovation can only be successful if we have, let's say, the architecture for the city in our mind, like we learned this morning. So the processes needs to be in place, otherwise there's nothing to innovate on. And crossing that to the shareholders, that will increase margin, which is of course very desirable, the workforce capacity, the attractiveness for hiring new people, which is also, let's say, a very big challenge, and the love for talent, like I mentioned, and for customers, of course, meet their demand budget, help them with their net zero, achieve a high total experience with them, and a lot of other aspects which are driven all and influenced by the center, like the environmental factors, the advices, and the company's own goals, all to create a high internal rate of return with your new initiative, and also life cycle value-based scenarios related to these assets. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or suggestions, please contact us. Thank you.